I'm having a bit of an identity crisis about what type of guitar player I want to be. And in this video, I want to explain a little bit more about what I mean by that. Hey, what is up everyone? Chris Harvey here. Welcome back to my channel where I post weekly content every Tuesday about all things guitar related. So if you're new around here and that sounds like something that you're into, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to get notified when I upload. So there's never been a more diverse time to be a guitar player because there are just so many great influences out there. There are the guitar heroes, people like Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jimi Hendrix, and more modern day guitar heroes like John Mayer and Joe Bonamassa, who are just really good at writing epic guitar solos, and it's all just a big part of their sound. And these guys are all great songwriters as well, so it's not necessarily just about the guitar playing. But you also have the guitarists who are mainly session guys, or the type of guitar player that would accompany maybe a singer-songwriter, where it's not so much about the guitar solos, but it's about the musicality, it's about how to play tastefully, and how to really support a acoustic or maybe a slightly more stripped back sound. And that is a skill in itself, and there's no real right or wrong answer as to which is the most valuable and which is the most impressive. It's all completely subjective. Now, I started an Instagram account back in October last year, and that really did change my guitar playing, as I think it does for everybody who's on there, because it's all about those 30-second to 1-minute clips where you just kind of perform the best thing that you can possibly play. And it's often guitar solos, it's all the techniques that you know, and it's all kind of condensed into that really kind of brief window. And I think it's easy to get sucked into that, and so many guitar players on Instagram are really amazing, and it's not to discredit anybody who plays in that style. But I think you tend to lose the musicality in your playing when you're just constantly thinking about those kind of micro performances that you do. So before I joined Instagram, my main role as a guitar player was supporting singer-songwriters and doing sessions, and it was just not about guitar solos or kind of showboating or just kind of showcasing everything you know on the guitar. It was about kind of being in the background and just supporting the main act, which was often a singer-songwriter or a particular recording that I was hired to, add a few parts to. And then transitioning to Instagram, where that really isn't the stuff that gets the clicks and isn't the stuff that generates all the engagement, I started to, kind of kneel to the algorithm of Instagram, and I started to post more solos, and that's what's triggered this little identity crisis that I'm having, because deep down those aren't the types of guitar players that really inspire me. So in this video I'm going to share 4 guitarists that really inspire the type of guitar player that I want to be. Those who are mainly in a supporting role, who just write really melodic parts, who are so sympathetic to the other musicians in the bands that they play with, and really do have their own sound, thus proving that you don't need to just be the kind of shreddiest guitar player to really make an impact. So the first guitar player that I think everybody needs to check out is Anthony Decosta. Now, he is an artist in his own right. He's released an album last year which is absolutely awesome, called, I think, Feet on the Dashboard or something along those lines. But he's just a really exciting guitarist in terms of how he approaches accompanying other artists that he plays with. He predominantly plays with a singer-songwriter called Aoife O'Donovan. Now, you might have come across her music. She does a lot of music with people like Chris Thile and the Punch Brothers and Sarah Jarosz in the kind of Americana, folky singer-songwriter genre. And her songs are just really beautiful, and for a time Anthony was the kind of lead guitarist or the other guitarist in her band. Now, there's a record that you all need to go and check out, which is a live record of Aoife's, and it's really a perfect showcase of what Anthony can do. His playing has all of the key kind of credentials of what would be considered a great guitarist. He's a really melodic lead player, but the thing that really stands out is the kind of texture and the effects and how he plays with kind of dynamics and tempo to really create a lot of movement in the music that he plays on. And for me, that's always something that is super impressive. It's not something that you would ever really work on if all you're interested in is kind of like blues or pentatonic scales, because it's so far removed from that. But his approach to accompaniment is definitely something that has inspired me, and it's something that I'm trying to work on in my own playing when, I do sessions and I'm hired to play with singer-songwriters. Now, someone else I put in this camp is Michael Landau. Now, again, Mike Landau is somebody who is really renowned as a kind of solo guitarist and an instrumental guitarist, because he's done a ton of solo records over the years. But his work with James Taylor in particular is another performance and another era of James Taylor's music that I just always gravitate towards. This was kind of around, I guess, the mid to late sort of 2000s, so maybe sort of 2006, 7 up to maybe 2012, and he's a long-time collaborator with James Taylor, and is definitely one that I recommend that you go and check out. There's a really great performance of the song Fire and Rain from, I think it was the North Sea Jazz Festival, where Mike's playing is again really kind of dynamic, really sympathetic to James's playing, who, if you are a fan of James Taylor, you know that his music is very acoustic and mellow and very kind of singer-songwriter-esque, maybe folksy, if that is an adjective you want to use. And really, to be an electric guitarist playing over that type of music is really difficult, because you don't want to necessarily be too in front of the mix. You don't want to necessarily take or distract from what the artist is doing. And in that performance at the North Sea Jazz Festival, Landau is just absolutely killing it. Tons of reverb, tons of delay, volume swells, and just really perfect note selection. And that's why, for me, Mike Landau is one of my heroes. He's just absolutely perfect at that. Now, another one of my favourite singer-songwriters of all time is Jackson Browne. You may or may not have heard of Jackson Browne, but he's definitely an artist that you need to check out. Huge in the 60s and early 70s. He wrote the song Take It Easy, which was obviously made famous by the Eagles. And one of his longtime collaborators and guitar players is a guy called Val McCallum. Now again, I guess Jackson Browne's music is pretty similar to James Taylor's in so much that it is kind of fairly Americana, folksy, and again, being an electric guitar player in that ensemble is something that is very difficult. But Val McCallum does a great job. He tends to play kind of strats and tellies, which is probably why I gravitate towards him so much, because he really does get the most out of those guitars as possible. And again, this is all about texture. It's about supporting the actual songs that Jackson writes, which are often played on an acoustic guitar or a piano. And he just really plays melodically, and just you never know necessarily what he's going to play, and that's part of the excitement for it. And I just think it perfectly supports Jackson's music. So if you're not familiar with Val McCallum, I definitely recommend that you check him out. Now, the final guitar player that I'm going to put on this list is Kenneth Pattengale from the band The Milk Carton Kids. Now, the Milk Carton Kids are a Americana acoustic duo, so pretty much the most mellow of kind of all of the kind of acts that we've spoken about in this video. And all of his music is played on an acoustic guitar, which I think is even more impressive, because you don't have the effects and you don't have, the kind of electric guitar sound to make your playing really kind of ambient and I don't even know what the word is. Help me out, guys. Their quintessential acoustic sound means that there is no effects or modulation for him to, I guess, add to his sound. It's about as stripped back as you can possibly be. When you're thinking about what register to play in, your note selection, this all has to really take precedent over anything else, because you don't want to clash with the other acoustic guitar. And Kenneth does this absolutely brilliantly. And he uses a capo a lot, which, again, I'm not mad about. A lot of people, give people who use capos a hard time. And I don't think that is entirely fair, because I think a capo is a great tool just to kind of help you change the tonality. It changes the tension of the strings, and all of that does make a massive difference. And there are definitely things that Kenneth does which you can then incorporate into the electric guitar to really make it a very unique sound, and it's something that I've tried to do whenever I'm accompanying a singer-songwriter. So definitely recommend checking out Kenneth. You might not necessarily be into that kind of folky singer-songwriter style of music, because on the surface it doesn't seem like it's particularly guitar heavy, but I think that is the mistake that a lot of people make, is that they think the standard of being a great guitarist are the guitarists that are able to do really epic guitar solos. And for me, guitar is way more than that. And that's probably the bit of guitar that kind of interests me the least. And I think it's the fatigue of social media that's maybe kind of making me steer towards these other types of guitarists, just to, I guess, kind of freshen the palette and just kind of reset and really think about what's important as a guitar player, and that is to be a musician. So guys, I hope there are some guitar players there that you can go and check out. I'll leave a load of links in the description so you can go and check out some of their videos and some of the albums that I mentioned. As always guys, thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments down below who some of your favourite guitar players are. I would really love to share that, because hey, it's always great to find new guitarists to listen to. As always guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you all next Tuesday.